I hope I put the correct information on the ads page. Because it's the Champions Showdown, the Kings, this and that. It's about the top chess players of the United States. That's what it is. So that's why it's not on the leechess.org, it's on chess.com. Fine. Sure. Of course. Back to see if they actually did start. They should be starting, I guess, any second now. So I'll try to cover this for a while. Of course, depends on you, my very dear friend. So in this evening, we're going to see also. So they played, let me say, 1, 2, 3, draw, white 1, knockout 1, and leads 1 to 1.5 to 0.5. And they're supposed to be starting very soon. Fabi plays Wesley. So that's Ray Robson with white, Hikaru with the blacks. Okay, there we go. We're ready to covering this chess event. Let me just slightly modulate the chessboard so you can't read Hikaru's full name. Right now you can. I mean, not that important, but let me just slightly moving. I think that's cool now. Let me lock it just to not having further surprises. Okay, I think it's quite harmonious. Okay, and we've started Ray Robson with e4. So feel free, guys, along the game to speculate your best. Knight f3, of course, knight c6, and I'm curious if it's a Rui Lopez, a Gioco Piano, a Scotch game. What is it going to be here? So feel free, guys, to type in your prediction. Gioco Piano, bishop c4, of course. Bishop c4 by Ray Robson. Knight f6, already going for this guy. e4. Now you could play from d3, knight c3. There you go. I mean, I haven't even finished to say my theoretical known moves, the bookish moves, that because they already moved d3, h6, prophylactically preventing any sort of knight g5 attacking f7 idea. So that's the h6 is a very prophylactic approach. It just cuts off any chances that you might attempt. So Hikaru didn't go crazy bishop c5 and stuff, you know, avoiding the knight g5. So now I guess white can either play, castle short, c3, knight c3, stuff like this. c3 preparing d4 move for sure. It is Naka's turn now to react. So I wonder if he's going to develop the bishop. So you're going to develop the bishop, and if you're going to develop it, where you're going to stop with this? And also, the question is, you're going to castle short, or any surprises? What's going on? Or is he going to play the d pawn? Well, we'll see about that in about a second. There you go, d6 being played by Naka. Ray's turn. You're going to castle? Probably. So I'm going to leave it here with the arrows. Again, feel free, guys, to type in your best candidate moves. Follow, subscribe to the stream. That'll be helpful, whatever the platform is you're watching this. Ray's turn. They could do h3 if you want to stop any knight or bishop coming over to g4. So yeah, the move h3. Let me see if I can have some blue paint. The move h3 will be stopping prophylactically any knight or bishop, either pinning you or stuff like that. So I guess you can play it. I guess you can play this. Other than that, what? Castle short? Okay. What else? It's here. b4, maybe too premature. Knight d2. Bishop e3. Yeah, but there is knight g4 coming. So if you want to avoid that, probably h3. It does take a little bit of time. Yeah, he takes his time. He didn't move. He didn't move. He didn't move just yet. Or is he going to play what? Queen e2? We'll see about that. We'll see about that. Queen to b3, it's a funny idea. Queen to b3, if you're looking at this. Queen to b3, I mean. What do you think about this one? Queen to b3 prepares a strike on f7, right? I guess black can't react immediately. Knight a5. You're still going to be taking. Then king has to move, and you are going to move the queen where? Probably you drop it. Hold on a second. Queen b3. Let's just say queen b3, right? Knight a5. But then, do you take f7 or do you play check first? You play check, they're going to be dropping. Complicated. Queen b3 doesn't seem incredibly successful practically after knight a5. Because if knight a5 and you take care, this guy's going to move, right? So let's say they play e7. And your knight is on prise. So what do you play next? So it doesn't work, queen b3. I'm not playing Joko Piano with white. I might do Danish Gambit, Scotch game, King's Gambit. So, yeah. Queen b3. I'm not sure about a queen b3. Probably h3 or castle short. All right, Mr. EpiPen, what do you play here with white? Smarty pants. What do you play with white? So that's what I think white should be playing probably. h3 castle short, but that's just me. I guess Ray Robson. Ray Robson, I think, is known for his incredible velocity. He's one of the real speed demons. So the guy is incredibly fast, and yeah. Also at the puzzle rush, he's a monster. He's one of those guys. When they do the puzzle rush, they go 60, 70. So it's unbelievable. Only 1800. I think it's quite decent, so to speak. If you're only 1800, that's good stuff. So yeah. Well, you don't need to defer too much. We just need to make a very honest effort. So yeah. And we're discussing all the ideas, including the very strong players. They may find a wrong way to play, So the errors are all out there waiting to be played, the blunders. Wasn't it that guy, Savieli Tartakova? Didn't he say that the blunders are there on the board waiting to be made? So, of course. Well, he takes his time, I can tell you that. So I'm going to move now to Wesley and Fabi. I'm going to move to Wesley and Fabi. Ray Robson, surprisingly, he didn't move. So, oh yeah, interesting. So let's see Wesley Fabi here. What did the boys play? Let me just roll. Oh, they play Ruy Lopez or the Spanish. They play the Spanish, right? C3, okay. That's the theme. Castle short. D5, takes and queen takes. Bishop c4, attack queen. B4, attacking bishop. Bishop d6, bishop g5 pin. E4, nicely takes. You can't take back. The knight is pinned. H6, probing into the bishop. So now Fabi's turn. If this bishop takes and queen captures, how are you going to develop the knight? Because the c3 will be under constant attack. And you've got some with the queen on f6. You got triple power, so white won't be able to push the pawn. So probably bishop h4. Or do you reckon, guys, pushing now? Knight takes, bishop takes. I'm not sure. It's just really messy. Or do you think b5 perhaps? Yeah, b5, but then knight jumps on e5. Maybe, if not something else. All in all, quite a sophisticated situation here. It's middle game tactics already. So, because I'm chicken, probably I'm going for bishop h4, but the e4 is completely... I mean, if you play bishop h4, they have to push g5 in order to grab e4, right? So that will be a bit weakening the king side. So still bishop h4 would be my choice. I mean, my candidate moves. Feel free to disagree, guys, at any moment. You never, you never should agree. You should never agree with someone unless you're convinced that's the best way. It's just the quality of ideas. You only acquiesce to something that you find it very reasonable. So bishop h4 probably would be an option, for myself at least. I'm willing to being replied with g5 and then bishop g3. Now, if they want to take, those guys are very shaky. That's me, though. That's me. Back to Hikaru and Ray Robson here. Hey, what's this guy doing? He didn't move nothing. For like 7-8 minutes, he contemplates the position. What the heck is he... I don't know, isn't it... I mean, what move is that? Wait a minute. This is move number 6, ladies and gents. Move number 6 for white. You would say these guys have prepared pretty much everything that's supposed to be played here, right? What's he doing? I don't know. So, let's see Dominguez, Perez, and Levon. What's the guy's play here? What did the guy do? Let me start a bit. English. Okay, that's a different thing. So the first, Nakamura plays Italian game, Gioco Piano, with Ray Robson. The other guys, Wesley plays the Spanish, and here we've got an English opening. Symmetrical. Okay. H4, nice, nice. That makes me think they want to go further and further. H6. Interestingly. Castle short though. Knight e7. B3. B3 ready for fianchetto. Somewhere, maybe here. Moving rook away, probably. D5. E3. Preparing to play D4, I reckon, right? Probably. And now it is Blackstone to play. Blackstone to move. Complicated. Castle short? Maybe. Something with a bishop? Like what? B6 now? B6 for bishop B7? Queen C7? Yeah, but then this. You have to move queen again. Difficult. You gotta take it step by step. Do you push though? 1, 2, 3, 4. Relatively safe, but when black pushes the pawn, also opens up the diagonal for the bishop on g2. So you got to be careful about that one as well. So feel free to suggest your own moves, guys. If black, there you go, d5, there you go. I just speculated about d5 being played, and it's been played by Lenia Dominguez, which is originally from Cuba. I think he got a dual citizenship. Nice. ed4, knight d4. Well, if you take here, you're gonna be giving black a lot of power. All those dark squares you gotta be very careful of. It's dangerous stuff. Also the bishop on g2. So it's very early. The knight is very young still. Anything can happen. But we'll keep an eye on this anyway. Back to Hikaru and Ray Robson. There was an interesting stuff here. Did they move, man? C3, fine. Oh, yeah. So I'm happy I left on the screen either h3 or castle short. So he chose the castle short. And now black played g5. Very courageous. Is he going to castle long? We don't know. But what we do know is that the possible further harassment with g4 harassing the white knight on f3 might be, maybe, in principle. It could be bishop e7. It could be, where's this guy going to go? Bishop e6 or bishop d7? Hard to say. But it's going to be exciting. I mean, interesting and instructive. And probably with your presence too and contribution, we're going to find the best ideas. So, yeah. We're going to find good ideas, I'm pretty sure, guys, together. Okay. Feel free to type in your best candidate moves covering this event for now. for a while. So that's Hikaru Ray Robson is with the whites. What's white supposed to do? Well, you either keep up the development or you're going to play a painful h3. Is h3 necessary, by the way? Now, white king had castle already. So for black is very clear where the target is. The target is on g1. Do you play h3 or not, being white here? If you don't play h3, what exactly you're supposed to do now, I wonder? Do you want to expand with b and a? Knight d2. Yeah, I think it's reasonable. Knight d2. And would you please tell me after g4, how would you respond to this? You're going to drop knight e1? I mean, not that you're having too many squares. But have you considered g4? You're a little bit cramped with the white pieces, that is. Would you risk it on the rim, so to speak? Mr. Penn. Mr. Sean Penn. Would you risk knight d2 and then g4 and then would you go knight h4? Is just too crazy. Just asking. So knight d2 sort of makes sense. But I'm still slightly concerned with g4. So I don't know what to say. Sincerely, I'm not sure. I'm still oscillating with the h3 idea, which is kind of the stuff I feel compelled to play here. Yeah. We'll see about that. It's actually getting funny. Knight e1, you say? Okay. I guess you could do that. I mean, you're not going to lose the knight or anything. It's a shame I don't play this Gioco piano stuff, so I haven't memorized or deepened the lines. I'm just throwing my basic understanding here. h3, knight d2. Yeah, it sort of makes sense, I guess. h3 also in the light of playing bishop e3 and not being harassed by knight, if that means anything. And maybe then knight to d2. Also, I would like to play, I don't know when, rook fe1 and pushing d4, but in what move order, I cannot say. Do you think rook fe1? Maybe. Anyway, so I'm just voicing out, guys, my clearest ideas. Please disagree with them all and find your own. So, what's going on here? He took. I would have played bishop h4, but that's me. I'm not Wesley. Not in this lifetime. And or Fabi. Fabi took though. Queen took. So what's going on is that the knight on b1 can't be played. You can't move this guy because c3 is hanging all the time. So what do you go for now? Do you play rook fe? Makes sense. Do you play h3 to prevent the pin? Hey, the pin is a bit painful. I think if Fabi allows bishop g4, not the end of the world though. You could still dream about knight d2. But the c3, guys, the c3 is a thing. You got a weakness there. If c3 is falling, then b4 is going to be captured as well if this guy is going down. So actually, protecting c3 is more important than we might think. Maybe after all, something queen b3, queen c2, protecting c3, then play knight d2 as a response to bishop g4. So then again, queen b3, bishop g4, and knight b1 d2. I guess quite harmonious, right? I guess makes sense. So that's one way to play. And then if you're given a chance, rook fe1, get the other rook. Quite positional, I guess. Unless some crazy tactics we don't see. But I think makes sense. And you don't want to lose c3, by the way. And also you got to keep up the development being white here. So you can't just ignore it. That's how I think about this one. And the third board. The next Chess Kings. Lenia Dominguez. What did the guys do here, man? So they took with the pawn with the knight. They took the pawn of the knight. Bishop a3 now. Directly targeting c5. You gotta be careful with the b6 because of this. So you can't. I don't think you can play b6. I don't think you can do b6. So queen a5 being played, attacks the bishop, protects c5, and Levon's turn to decide what to play. I guess bishop b2. I guess bishop b2. This one is not going to work. It's actually quite dangerous, including queen sacrifice. And then, no, because they're not going to take with a queen. Actually, it don't freaking matter. You have to be careful. So if it's queen c1, I mean, just a throwing idea. If queen d to c1, I wonder if black could, if white, black could take on c3. Whether you take with a pawn or, whether you take with a pawn or queen, it may not make a difference because knight e2. Now that's interesting. Now that was just an idea. I'm just throwing ideas. So I guess white has to be careful with the rook d to c due to this tactic. I'm not sure it works. It's also super sharp, and c5 no longer protected. I'm not sure it works. It was just an idea. Probably it's wrong. We'll see about that. We're going to be coming back anyway. Hikaru Ray Robson here. Okay. Did they move? Let me see. g5. No, white didn't move nothing. Maybe rook f e1. If you don't panic very much about g4 coming down the board, perhaps rook f e1 might be a sensible move. Yeah. Okay. This one now? Queen c2. Yeah, you gotta defend c3. And you're ready to play knight d2. Now knight at play d5 attacks the bishop. Makes a lot of sense to me to go bishop e2 here. Like a lot of sense. Like a lot. Unless you want to play, but no. You can't just allow this to happen. You have to drop bishop e2 now. Because knight takes f3, g takes, and queen takes, and I think you're just dead. Would you take though? Well, if you take with a knight, I guess black takes back with a bishop, and then you have to... I don't know what to do about that c3, which is always a weakness now. So I suspect bishop e2. You protect the knight. They take, okay. They don't take, okay. Maybe you got a chance to play knight e2 in the end. If nothing else better than this. So bishop e2 as the next candidate move for Fabi Caruana here. Bishop e2. So to all my friends, guys, this is one way for you to, let's say, kind of accelerate your chess understandings and keep your mind in shape. Watch these guys playing live games and try to, without the use of this software, of course, try to think for yourselves, what would you do if you were them? And I think that's a very good exercise for all of you out there, including myself and everybody else, really. And if you manage most of the boosts to get them like this, guys, I think you're on the right track. Then, time permitting, try to go to over the board tournaments. And let's take it from there. So bishop e2. Okay, that's my first choice here. My first and the last choice. Unless Fabi sees more, which I don't know what is, but we're going to find out, I guess. Wesley Fabi. And the third board here. White's turn to play. Bishop e2, just to save everybody's time. Bishop e2. I don't know what else to play here. Anything else is just way too risky. So bishop e2, move the bishop to safety, and if you're given a chance later on, rook fe1, stuff like this, maybe you can play something with the knight. We'll see. But first thing first, bishop e2. So that will be the candidate move here. Now let me go quickly to Hikaru. The boys move? Nah, they didn't move nothing. It surprises me to see Ray Robson taking his time. The guy is so fast in the puzzle rush. He's so fast in the blitz and bullet. He's a nightmare. He's a freaking genius. So fast. And here takes his time like is one of those guys. Let me go back. You talk about what game in particular? Well, if you trade the black knight now, black's going to take with a bishop, and then you're going to have to protect c3 forever. Twice. So how are you going to get the knight on b1 to play? So that's what I say. So if you're referring to this game, Fabi Wesley, the strong black knight, which one is it? You're talking about this? Well, if you take here now, there is things. First, I'm not sure black's going to take with the bishop. Maybe they're going to take your bishop first and your knight is still hanging. Do you know what I mean? If knight takes d4, do you have a guarantee black's going to take with the bishop? What if they take queen takes a3, for instance? Just asking questions, that's all I do. Yeah, you do have probably knight b5, which is interesting. But maybe they go back. So are you fully satisfied with this? Bishop b2, I'd say. I think the safer side of history is bishop b2, and then you take it from there. Let's see. I'm not sure about knight takes. It's interesting. I mean, opens up the bishop and stuff. Okay. But I'm not sure. I'm just not. I mean, yeah, okay. I think getting quite sharp. You don't have any guarantee black's gonna take with a bishop once you take on d4. Maybe they take your bishop. So yeah, who knows? Interesting point though. Thanks for your suggestion, by the way. Guys, feel free, again, if you have your own ideas, candidate moves, of course, no software involved. I'm happy to discussing them. I don't use any helpers, any helping stuff here. It's just me and yourselves. Me and your good selves. Ray didn't move nothing. She spends a lot of time. Interesting. Wesley with Fabi. Knight d2. He developed. I guess he's willing to give up on the bishop, which is something I'm very biased towards. I try to avoid losing the bishops. I don't know why. I always try to. Well, you're welcome, man, and thanks for your presence as well. Appreciate your good ideas very much. So because I'm biased, I normally try to, like, almost very subjectively to keep the bishops alive every single time I try to protect the bishops. I try to avoid trading them. I love them a bit more than the knights, so probably that's a bad feature of mine. You should be objective, you shouldn't be biased. So knight d2 might be the objectively good move. You develop. If knight takes bishop, knight takes, and okay. So I think I like that. Knight takes, you attack the bishop. And you're threatening also the fork with e4 to e5. So black knight takes, white knight takes c4. Not just you attack the bishop, which you want to take because it's incredibly active on this dark square diagonal. Not just that, but also you're preparing e4 to e5, which is serious, very serious threat. So I think Fabi actually found the most objective response here. I think it's awesome to learning from these guys how to play, what to play. Excellent thinking. Excellent thinking. Knight bd2. Everything's active. So now I'm not sure black should take on c4. But probably you could play your bishop. Like, keep up with the development. Could it be bishop d7 and bishop c6? Just asking. Could it be something else? And what might that be? You want to play bishop g4? So let me put an open question to all of you, my very dear friends. Would you play bishop g4, bishop d7, or would you take on c4? I know it's too many questions for Tuesday evening. I know it's almost indecent, but I have to ask. So bishop g4, bishop d7, or you take, or something else. Interesting. Not sure. Black's done, by the way, not white. So I would look for a move with the bishop now if I were Wesley. I'm not, but if I were. Because you have to develop everything. You can't stay backwards with the development. And you need to finish up the activation of your minor pieces. So yeah, you got to do something with the bishop. What? Well, that's up for debate. Should send bishop g4, maybe. If you're asking me, I'd love to have the bishop on c6. If you ask me, from c8 over to b6 to c6. So probably d7 and c6. But then again, if it's a4, what do you play? Maybe you play a6. Maybe. Well, bishop has to move. He gonna move the bishop somewhere. One of these two, I reckon. Board number 3. The last kings. What's going on? He didn't move. Levon didn't move nothing.
Scenarios for you, my very dear friends. And,
What's this tab? That's from Rumble or something. So queen a5, bishop b2. He took the knight. He took the knight. He took knight takes d4. Oh, look at this one. So now that's the move you suggested. That's the move you suggested. Champagne. So knight takes d4. And now the question is bishop takes d4, queen takes a3. Now we're getting into complications. So which one do you take back with? Very, very important moment. Very important moment. If bishop takes d4, I guess the other bishop has to play b2, right? And then maybe you get to castle. Now, I'm not sure. Or would you take queen a3? If you take queen a3, you have to be prepared about this kind of stuff. I'm not sure you like it because it's just too much. No, you can't take on a3. It's a must you take the knight. Probably with the bishop. We can debate on this one. I think it's gorgeous. You can't take queen a3. You cannot because knight b5, which hits c7 and d6. This is a serious threat. Attacks the queen with tempo. I don't know where you're moving, but you got a big issue with c7 and d6. Therefore, bishop takes d4 seems to be probably the only way. So you know what's interesting in chess? When you play something, you could be almost certain that the other guy is going to play that line because it's getting a little bit forceful now. It's getting a little bit that they don't have too many options at the minute. No, man, he went queen takes a3. And now you tell me if white's not going to play knight b5. I mean, if you don't do knight db5, what's stronger than this? Knight db5 targets the black queen and c7 and d6. Let me highlight the squares again. How is black responding to this? How do you play against knight db5? So Levon has to play it, I guess. You've got to do it. For all the good reasons. Well, look, black has to move the queen, man. They have to move the queen. Right? I mean, it's a must, right? Or I'm too deluded. Queen has to go. And you're going to play knight d6. If queen a5, which probably is going to happen. And then you're going to play knight d6. You check the king. King's going to have to move whatever they move. And then you say what you want to play from d6. I don't know. You take the bishop, right? Because then you could just very well hunting b7. So then again, let me highlight. Knight db5 seems to be the move white needs to play next. This move has everything you need from a move. Attack with tempo, threatened c7, d6, and queen. If that's not the move, I don't know what the move is anymore. What do you think, guys? Knight db5, right? Knight db5, totally. Let me know if you think differently. Now that really got me very excited here. I'm curious to see, really. Okay. Hey, what the other guys do, Hikaru? a4, expanding on the queen side, of course. So, g5, b4. Okay, they want to play b5, I guess. Bishop g7 by Hikaru. a4, he expanding. I guess if there's any g4, knight's going to play probably d2 and then rook fe, maybe. Also, black is rushing to castle short and not sure about pushing, because when white played b4 and a4, it means they're going to be rolling up those pawns and they're going to be attacking. So, and also you don't have the tempi to moving bishop, moving queen and castle long. It's just crazy, right? I don't know. We'll see about that. We don't know yet where Hikaru's going to castle or if he's going to castle. We don't know just yet. But certainly he got to develop his pieces, right? So this thing is maybe double-edged sword. I mean, you push the pawn, you attack the knight. Knight has to move, but if you ever castle short, it's getting risky. So he castle short. He already committed, castling short, nice and cool. So I don't think you got to worry now about g4 being pushed. Maybe you want to develop some bishop and knight somewhere. Maybe you want to develop. Again, rook fe, and then you push d? Maybe. Do you play, what do you play? Do you play knight a3? I'm not sure where you're going to go with that knight, but still, you got to develop your pieces, right? Black might play bishop e6, because if you take, they take back with f and opening up the rook. That might be an idea. Might be an idea. I think that's quite instructive stuff. So we're going to keep close and see what the guys choose to play. Ray and Hikaru here. All right. Nice one. Wesley Fabi. Oh, Wesley takes his time. So he didn't answer the question just yet. What do you do with the bishop on c8? He still tries to find an answer to this question. I think this is the question he asks himself. What do I do with the bishop on c8? If you could see his thoughts now, if you could see Wesley's thoughts, chess thoughts, I don't want to see any other thoughts from Wesley. So if you could see his chess thoughts, he's going to be probably inquiring, what the heck am I doing with the bishop on c8? I think that's the question he asks himself. Okay. He didn't move. He didn't find an answer yet. 36 minutes, 52 Fabi. Wesley slower than Fabi. Okay. Okay. And come on, Levon. Come on, Levon. We're all waiting for you to play knight db5. The whole planet, the whole chess planet, whatever chess community, we're all waiting for you to play knight db5. Come on, Levon. Come on, man. I placed a bet. I placed 50 quid on this. Come on, knight db5. Plays, though. Sorry, is there anything stronger than knight db5? Mr. Sean Penn, is there anything stronger than knight db5? That's the definition of strong move. If that ain't a strong move, I don't know what is a strong move anymore. Is this a blunder? I don't think so. I don't think it's a blunder. I would play it very confidently because the onus is on black to decide what to play next. It's not on me. So, you know, that's one of those things. When you find something very strong to play, that you're very satisfied, you don't need to worry excessively about what your opponent might play. You just think about how do you attack more and more. So the onus is on them to finding the best answer. You probably identify that queen a5 is not going to save them from knight d6, for instance. They can't play queen a6 because then you're winning the queen after knight c7 and Dominguez is going to start crying all of a sudden. But it's not going to happen. These guys are super grandmasters, so that's not going to happen. Pretty sure about that. So, but I don't know what's he waiting. I mean, I thought that's the thing you play immediately, right? Okay, there might be some bishop takes, but that's fine. But that's fine. I mean, it's working great for white here. If they would take. You take back with the pawn, you still have the... No. That's nonsense. They're not going to take on c3 because they lose the queen. So no, knight db5 is the killing. And I think it's a bit of a plus, I think. We can play that game with the eval gauge just a little bit, peeking into engine's evaluation. I think it might be a little bit of a plus. I think. It's slightly, I don't know how much of a plus. Plus what? Plus 0.50? Specifically following knight db5. Because of the knight db5 in particular. I think it's quite serious. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the eval gauge. I mean, I want to see. I want to know if knight db5 because I've been advocating for this like for the last 20 minutes or so. The guy takes forever. Levon takes forever. I think he's getting old. He takes forever to move now. Why? Well, maybe I'm getting younger because I've decided this like 10 minutes ago. Okay, I apologize. Knight cb5, knight db5, knight c2. Oh, forget about not bloody knight c2. It's knight cb, knight db. Yes, I was right. Cover up the whole damn thing. Knight db5 all the way. And I proposed that like even before the live stream had started. Of course it's this the move. I don't know what he's doing, really. Maybe he plays with Dominguez's nerves. Maybe he wants to annoy him or something. I don't know. He wants him to let him, roast slowly. He's slowly roasting Dominguez's nerves, I guess. Well, rook fe1. Yeah, we just discussed that rook fe1 so many times. Rook fe1, and if you wonder why, ladies and gents, it's because of d4. Rook fe1 protects e4, and you can confidently push striking in the center d4. It's actually in terms of playing d4. Okay. This is also very instructive game. Very instructive game, and it's a delight because it's not a bullet. It's a rapid. It's a long time control, and these guys can think of splendid moves. So that's just great. Great. It is really. I swear, that's great. Wesley Fabi. Bishop g4. I did say that. But he went for knight f3. Knight f3, bishop g4, attacking with tempo. Knight d4, of course. You're not gonna let your knight getting hammered and losing pawns and stuff. And also, you're not gonna drop your beautiful bishop in a defensive position. So you keep a bishop active, and you're moving into aggressive stance. Knight d4, great. Bishop. Oh my lord! Look at this dirty tactic. Can you believe that? Wesley pulls up this kind of stuff? I didn't think Wesley can be so ruthless. Whoa, that's a nice tactic. Did Fabi see it? I mean, I didn't see it because I'm not Fabi. Of course I'm not Fabi. Hey, that's the sound that I like. Yeah, you keep following and subscribing, guys. Hello, Sam. How's it going, fella? So this is something called bishop takes b4 if cb, queen takes. I'm not sure you're comfortable with that being white now. You messed up. You just lost the pawn here. You know, this is something. 1, 2, 3, 6. 3, 6. You lost the pawn. You have an isolated backward pawn on e2. And I simply think black is doing better. Due to the last stuff, let me tell you something. Maybe after all, maybe bishop e2 was the best course of action. Just to go back in hindsight. Dude, I'm not playing now, Mr. WebSeb. I'm covering this event. I know it's a disappointment because you guys want to play against the streamer. I get it. But now I'm gonna covering this guys for the time being. You can play me maybe later on or maybe tomorrow, being Thursday. I think I want to do another one evening time, 7 p.m. ish. So, all in all things considered, bishop e2 might have been better because you wouldn't allow the dirty tactic with bishop takes b4. So I think he got a bit ahead of himself and he tried being funny, but Wesley punished Fabi. I think he enjoyed it. I think he enjoyed punishing Fabi. Boom. He said, nah, I took a pawn from you, nah, and stuff. And Fabi now is breaking up the table. Bishop takes b4. Nick the pawn. You take it back. Okay, fine. h3. Okay, we can move the bishop, I guess. Where? I got a square for you, fellas. It's bishop h5. And potentially looking into this. There you go. Bishop h5. Very natural, very sweet. Very promising. You know, that's where the queen is. That's your diagonal. What's wrong about that? I don't think g4 is going to be played again. I really don't think so. We might see knight f5, though. But then again, they're going to be saving the bishop. They just took a pawn from you. You can't play this. c3 is hanging like a billion times. So I don't think you can play knight f5 in all good conscience. You can't do knight here, no. I'm afraid, Fabi, kind of to diminish the damage, to limit the damage, you just have to take on b4 now. Dice have been cast. I don't know what else you could do. Can you attack something with the knight with tempo? I don't think so. You got nothing, man. I'm sorry. You have to take the bishop. You lost the pawn, and probably Fabi's going to lose the game because of this lost tactic. Missed tactic, let's say. So, c3 takes b4, queen takes d4, and slowly, black's going to build up an advantage, positional advantage, and black's going to win after like, I don't know, 30 more moves. So black should be winning. I'm going to play again that little game. Me and Littlefinger guy. You remember that character from the Game of Thrones? Baelish. So, I'm going to put the eval gauge. And I think it's a minus. I think it's a minus what? Minus 0.50? Because of this last tactic that happened. I think it's an advantage for black. Took an extra pawn, and everything is great for black here. Everything is great. And not so great for white. Let's find out the objective truth. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. f4, rook a b1, queen b3. Jesus Christ. You don't take the bishop, you actually push the f because you got those guys moving up the board. Well, I'm not an engine. Okay, if white takes b4, it's bad for white. Of course, there is a better move. I didn't see it. I totally didn't see it. Neither b3 or stuff. I didn't. I just thought about c takes b4, but hey, look, it's not, man. f4, queen b3 apparently are killers. Because you go for b7 and stuff, and you attack the bishop and stuff. So b7 will be taken, but if you're taking it back, there is a rook coming, right? Yeah, well, that's chess, so yeah. Okay. Well, that's good to learn. That's good for learning. Well, neither did you. You didn't see it, guys, and I didn't see it. If I saw, I would have said it, but I didn't see it. I was very short-sighted. That's why I'm not Fabi Caruana or Wesley. Well, let's see. I hope Fabi gonna have enough clarity to go on with the best move to play here, right? I hope. Hikaru and Ray Robson. So knight d2, continue with the development. Knight g6. Let me just go back a bit. Castle short, rook fe. Knight e7 for relocation and adjustment. Knight d2, knight g6. Knight f1 because obviously you want to go knight g3. I think that's one of those themes. Always happens like this. You in the Joko piano, and I think in the Spanish too. Once you play the c3, you're gonna go d2, f1, g3, f5. So this odyssey by the knight, it happens in the Joko piano with knight g3, knight f5. It happens very often. A long game. That's gonna take some moves. So that's Hikaru, Wesley, Fabi, Dominguez, and Levon here. Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. I would have suggested knight db5, but he went knight c b5. Hey, what's not to like about this move? I mean, look at the prospects here. c7, killing, absolutely killing. c7, d6, and a3. So these are the focal points, and I think black has an issue. Serious issue for Dominguez here. You got a serious problem. You can't play queen a6 because knight c7 wins the queen. You have to go a5 or something. And of course, there's no point bishop takes because knight takes queen. So black has an issue. Should they resign? I think it's a plus here, plus 0.70 or maybe even more. Let me find out. Plus 0.33. Well, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's very good. And yes, it's knight d6. After queen a5, it's knight d6. King's gonna move, and then you take it from there. Not over, but maybe you could take the bishop. They're gonna take back, and then b7 is takeable as well. So all the good stuff for white. All the good stuff for white here. Queen a5 being played on knight d6. Yes. What I like about this position is that I had anticipated that some time ago. So I'm happy at least I've seen what Levon had seen. So king f8 pretty much forced. King f8. And now I'm really curious to see if Levon gonna go the stuff the way I've seen it with taking on c8. No, he went, oh my god, he goes for a checkmate because these guys are super grandmasters. That's why. My god, he went queen f3 to deliver checkmate on f7. These guys are really doing the stuff, you know. Knight f5 now. Ay, ay, ay. So now what do you play? Do you take with this guy? I don't think they could take. Because then you're going to kill him after you play knight to h6 or something. f7 is a complete vulnerability there. It's a liability. Do you take with this knight or do you take with the other knight? And I mean, I thought it's going to get simpler or clearer, but it doesn't. You need to keep up with the good ideas, good attacking ideas. The bishop threatens everything on this diagonal. So which knight's going to take? Or do you do something else? Which knight's going to take? This probably is the most spectacular game we're going to see this evening, guys. This one. I think it's more spectacular than Naka and Wesley's and the other two. This one, I think, is more interesting than the other two games. This one. Because I think we're going to see sacrifices. I think we're going to see some knight takes black knight. I think. He's going to sack the exchange. He's going to give that rook. Well, I'm not sure black's going to take the rook. But I think white should be going for knight takes f5. Knight d. You maintain this knight here because maybe you luck and deliver checkmate. You know, with the queen on f3 is just great. So knight df5. I don't know what black's going to play. But looks very, very serious threats here. It's just great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Love it. Okay, that's Levon Lanier going to be back. The most exciting game this evening, I think. This is it. Board number 3, not board number 1. Board number 1, though, it's very interesting. But it's a very long positional stuff here. d5 takes, knight takes. And yeah, your guess is as good as mine. You gonna play the bishop somewhere? I mean, you're gonna take the knight? You're gonna play bishop b2? Probably you play bishop b2, right? Do you play bishop d2? Not sure. You're blocking your queen's view. So I guess queen b2, bishop b2 makes sense. Bishop b2, you're gonna play queen b3. And just looking with your bishops and the queen towards the black king's fortress. So I guess... Oh, that's awesome, man, if you got a brilliant move. That's really great. That's really great. So, you're going to revise or what?
Well, yeah, I'm using it for so I can make a
Oh, okay. All right. I don't know for how long the bishop will be passive. Anyway, you have to develop, though. Well, okay, there is bishop a3, but you got a problem with c3. So, because I'm always biased and I'm never keen to trade off my bishop. I mean, you could take the knight. Queen's going to take. Okay, you could always attack with tempo. And then bishop a3. Okay. Every now and then, I might be prone to break my personal aesthetic preferences and going for something I wouldn't do. So, queen b3, bishop a3. No, wait, whoa. Queen b3. Queen b3. Queen b3. Queen b3, is it bad? Queen b3. Maybe you could play queen b3. Yeah, maybe. There's very many maybes. And then bishop c to a. Yeah. It's so many questions, and there's no wonder Ray Robson doesn't move nothing because he got the same dilemmas like ourselves. So he didn't move nothing just yet. For this very reason. Alright, Wesley Fabi. Hey man, that's that position. I didn't see nothing, but Fabi sees everything. I was almost convinced that black is winning here, hands down, because I was so short-sighted seeing just c takes b. But it's named, it's f4. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, I so much didn't see it. I mean, what's dangerous about this stuff is that those pawns are going to be moving. And you will be hitting queen. You could hit the bishop again. Bishop goes here. You're going to attack them again. So let's just look at this one. Bang. Boom. Attack again. Bishop goes h7. Right? And, or maybe you played this one first. And then you're going to be threatening g4. So I think that's quite a bit serious. So you don't bother about this. You keep the status quo. So I think probably f5. And really, where's the bishop going to go? Where's the bishop going to go? Because you're threatening g4. I think this is just something. Yeah. It might be just something. Yeah, cheers guys on TikTok and all. Well, maybe it's over in the software's point of view. We are humans. It ain't over. Yeah, maybe for the engine is over. If humans are going to keep fighting for a while. Yeah, it is very uncomfortable here. Really uncomfortable. I guess prophylactically you can play bishop g6. I mean, you're losing your bishop anyway. So to not lose the bishop, you're going to play bishop g6. White's going to push the f. You're going to play bishop h7. Very uncomfortable, but you keep on fighting. You still got 27 minutes on the clock, so keep on pushing. You never know. I guess it makes sense. Play it in this way. There you go, bishop g6. Bishop g6 is pretty much a forced move. So I wasn't incredibly creative, but I was looking for active ways to saving the bishop. So bishop g6, of course bishop g6, and this and that. So now you can push, but the bishop is going to be saved. Maybe there is a better one. Let's find out. Queen b3. No. Yes, no, yes, no. I don't know. Maybe this one first, bishop h7, and then queen b3. Or rook ad. Yeah, well, unclear. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. So that Wesley and the other guy. Okay. Levon and Dominguez and Levon. He didn't do nothing. Again, knight d f5. So knight d f5 is my candidate move here. My human choice. Maybe f5 and then queen b3 here. Maybe. Hikaru Ray Robson. Maybe queen b3. Maybe queen b3. Maybe bishop takes. Probably queen b3 I would choose to play. And let's do something maybe more engaging. I'm going to be alternating. I'm going to try and hit a difficult puzzle. And then we're going to come back to the boys here, see what they did. So let's go with a puzzle now, guys. I hope you're not very, very upset about this one. Hey, that's Knight's Starry Sky, but where is the chessboard? Oh my god. Where's the chessboard, man? I mean, I can see the... Oh, okay, fine. Well, in the end, sure. Alright, there we are. So puzzle, just a puzzle. Let's do a puzzle, and then we're gonna find out what the GMs played. White to move here. White to play. I'm gonna go back to the events, watch events. Sorry, didn't you tell me you play a lot of on chess.com? What do you mean, how do I watch the games? I thought you're very familiar with chess.com. You tell me you couldn't find your password for Elite Chess or something. There was something weird. Anyway, can you find a way to win a pawn? Hey, they shouldn't say this kind of stuff, you see. It's a bit of a like cheating. Yeah, they shouldn't say any messages, any nothing. They should leave it just raw and stuff. Oh boy. All right. So why to play anyway? So I'm supposed to be winning a pawn. Go figure. Supposed to winning a pawn? Really? That's about winning a pawn now? Well, there's many problems here. There's many problems. Oh my god, there's a queen f7. Are you serious, man? Okay, look what I'm thinking. Look what I'm thinking. Is a queen f7. Maybe it's queen f7. Queen f7 forcing. Then knight e5 check and what's not. And then knight takes. And that's how you're winning actually nice material. Quite compensation. And I think you're doing very well. Sorry, I was looking at all sorts of complications, but that seems to be the correct one. Well, if you studied that, that means you've solved it, so you can confirm if that's the move or not. But that's what I think White should be playing. Yes. And now knight e5 checks the king, attacks the queen, and I think we're doing fine. Yes, I think we got more than enough material compensation. Yeah, there is 2 rooks. Indeed, there is 2 rooks. But you got a rook and 2 minor pieces, and you got a billion extra pawns, more exactly 2, 4, 6, 2, 2, 4. White is winning down the road. Those 2 rooks will suffer tremendously trying to win against the rook, 2 minor pieces, and those connected white pawns. I mean, if you just throw in the f4 and then the e5, it's big headache for black here. It's very big headache for black. I mean, boy, oh boy. I don't want to play with the blacks here. It's awful. If they trade, it's a disaster anyway. I mean, it's a disaster. They can't trade. Don't matter. So that was the puzzle. Let's go again. But you know something funny? They shouldn't give you those helping messages where you can see black to move, time for an important lesson about defending. I appreciate the spiritual and all. I do appreciate, but they shouldn't be providing that extra information. It's a bit like cheating, you see. So you're thinking, you're playing with black. Okay, I'm gonna ask chess.com if possible to remove the helping messages in the puzzle because it's not fair. It's not fair to give the other guy the idea, oh, you have to win a pawn, oh, you have to defend, oh, you have to attack. Yes, yeah, you should have at least been provided. We should be provided at least with a toggle off on button, so we can do whatever we think necessary. Anyway, black to play, and I mean check. I was about to say, well, why don't we deliver just a checkmate? But I've forgotten, because I'm looking always for attack. I don't look for defense, which is very bad. But it looks to me, hell, actually there's two options here, man. One is moving the king, but then you're subjecting yourself to all sorts of, like, they don't even have to take your rook, because if they take your rook, you're going to checkmate them. So if you move king here, it's going to be another check from the queen. And then you might getting just toast, with a possible checkmate. Therefore, maybe you have to block. Maybe you have to block like this. All you need to do is just make sure that the queens had disappeared or traded or something, because you got the extra rook, but the extra rook doesn't exist. So just thinking out loud now, rather than moving the king, which I'm not sure, probably we should be blocking with the black queen. And that's my choice, but apparently it was wrong. Am I not getting checkmated, man? Where do I go? Well, I go here. Okay, but then there is a check. Okay, I move here. That's a long-range puzzle. I was too lazy. I thought it's, I was too lazy. It was quite some sequences to calculate, and I didn't want to calculate. Nah, it's not a draw. You're blocking with the queen, and there is no more incoming checks. But then again, I was a bit too lazy. I thought that I'm going to simplify it. No. As soon as the queens come off the board, at least on this side of the puzzle, I was correct. As soon as the queens come off the board, black enjoys the extra rook. So that's the killer here. Well, maybe you're gonna, well, pardon me. I think it has to do more with like a6 to a5 rather than playing rook d8. I think. Anyway, I messed it up. This one. Sorry. I messed it up. You have big opportunity. Plan out your next moves carefully. Oh, okay, that's big opportunity. I hate it. You know what big opportunity means here? Didn't I tell you guys? It's 1822 OTB over the board. That's my FIDE rating. Blitz, that is. When they say you have big opportunity, this and that, it's something to do with the check and winning material. And probably it's got to do with this. That would be a check, by the way. But also, you got to be careful with the queen coming over to c5 or coming over to b6, so you might be getting in deep trouble. So it ain't over quite yet, but it might be also this check here. If they block with the queen, I don't know where you're going next. You might be having all sorts of checks everywhere. Like everywhere checks. This one. What's not? This one. Queen blocks. Where? Where you going? Where you going? This one. Check. Okay, king moves. Where? They go to the left. Okay, what do you do next? Do you take here? Well, good luck with this, man. Well, they play here. Yeah, but then they have this. So, yeah, but if you play queen h3 or something, don't lose sight of this. I think you got a massive problem if you allow queen to b6, don't you? Like you're going to be checkmated quite quickly, I guess. So it may not work. Maybe we need to force the queen. So there is a check. So look what I'm thinking. There's a check here. When queen blocks eventually, if they were to block, then you play the check. Then they do whatever. Well, whatever doesn't work. Maybe it's a draw after all, man. That's difficult. I don't know what to suggest here playing for black. Feel free, guys, to suggest, and then I'm going to go back to Nakamura and the guys. Feel free to suggest. What do you think black should be doing here? So we got his check here, right? But is this the way to play? On the other hand, that's serious. So maybe there's this. Okay, I got a question. After this one and king moves, where's the other check? What do we do, actually? So what do we do? Quite difficult. So probably it's a check somewhere. Can we play another crazy move like a pawn move? No. What am I talking about? It's a checkmate and a move. Jesus Christ. You can't take your time. You can't. It's just checkmate in one here. Not even in 2 or 3 or something. So queen has to be deflected. Queen has to be deflected one way or another. So I'm going to go with this. Queen must be deflected. So, okay, they moved it up. Okay, so now I could remove this guy, and after potential checks and stuff, I don't know, I move the king out of the way. Let me see if I got any other checks here, by the way. We do have this, though. We do. But then king's going to move. Nah, you got to grab the rook now. Queen takes the rook. They might play some checks. That is true. That is true. And then we're gonna play this. Then they're gonna play. My God, I'm losing the queen after rook takes b7. No, you didn't say queen h3. You said queen h3, whereas I play queen h1. No, and it's not easy. I think you're exaggerating. This is anything but easy. This is not easy. Where did you come up with this idea that's easy? It's not easy at all. I absolutely do not think it's easy. Queen takes b1. Then you're going to have check here. I don't know what you're talking about, but doesn't look easy to me. Like, pretty much not at all. It's just not easy. Maybe it's not taking rook. Maybe there's this check here. Maybe it's not taking the rook. Also, the black rook I can see has no contribution, and the positioning of the black king is not very optimistic either. I don't know which way to go now with the queen. Hey, Brian Gee, thanks very much for your idea, man. Let me see. My TikTok friend says queen h1, queen e4. Might very well be. But you know something? These guys at chess.com, they started to tell us you have a big opportunity. So I don't deny what you're saying. Perpetual is preferable than to losing, Brian. So, yeah, I would say, but do you think actually black can win? Frankly, I'm not sure black's winning here. I don't see how the hell do you win here. The black rook is not active at all. If we take the rook now, we're going to get executed after some queen A, and then rook plays and we drop in queen, and it's an absolute pain. So I guess your idea is preferable. I mean, you just keep on checking. But after queen e4, what if they block with a queen, though? Well, you're going to go g2, I guess. Then queen's going to block. You're going to go back. Maybe it's a perpetual check. Maybe it's a perpetual check. Frankly, I don't know what to say. And actually, I find it quite difficult. I find it very difficult. I think we can discard taking the rook, right, guys? We can totally give up on this idea, queen taking rook. Probably it's not working. It's just too much for the black king here. So, which way is it? H5 or is it E4? Which way to go? Is there the difference in between the two? Queen e4, queen h4, queen h4. Very difficult. Queen e4, queen h4. Queen h5, queen blocks. Is there a better one? Then you check again, then they move. Maybe it's queen h5? Maybe queen h5. One of these two, you see? It's one of these two. We got another TikTok friend, Vilton. Vilton says take the rook. So Vilton, I would take the rook. How do you play after this check though? Where do you go? You're moving where? Here. Where do you move? Then check with the rook. Where exactly you're going to move? You're moving here. I'm going to take really. I don't think it's taking the rook though. I don't think it's taking the rook. It's just so not easy, so not obvious. I don't know. I don't know how to go on with this one. Rook or queen h5. I think like queen h5, I guess. Might be queen h5, but not sure about. You tell me what do you think, guys, if it's queen h5 or... Which one gives chances for a perpetual? So if I'm looking for a perpetual now, I gotta find the square from which I can easily move to another square. Keep checking the white king. Okay, let me look again at Vilton's idea. So queen takes, right? Okay, fine. Queen check, king b4. Right, a rook b7, Vilton. Rook b7. You are in check. You are skewered. You are skewered, Vilton. Yeah, queen e4, or queen h5. That's amongst these two. Amongst these two storms I'm thinking about. Amongst two storms, there was a song by Sakis Tolis, very romantic song. Among two storms. So queen e4 or queen h5. Oh, which way to go? Or maybe this is wrong, but I don't see it. Queen e4, queen h5. Queen e4, you're closer to the target, and you can still providing checks. If king goes back, you're gonna keep hitting them. Yeah. Yes, you were correctly right, Brian. Brian was absolutely spot on with this one. Brian is correct. What? Queen c2? No, queen h1. We do the perpetual, right? Not queen c2. Definitely, we don't do queen c2. It can't be queen c2. It's queen h1. We keep checking. And it's one of those very rare exceptions where actually you are supposed to find the perpetual as a solution. You can't win. How do you win this? You don't win nothing. No, we don't play for a win. We play for a draw. Those guys at chess.com wants to drive us nuts. There's no winning. You don't win this. You don't win this. You just survive. It's just crazy. Let me think again. Do you win? How the hell do you... Okay, there's another check here. Nah. You can't do this nonsense. You gotta go back on f3. And once they block, you're gonna go again. Well, I don't know. You're the stockfish guy. I'm not using the stockfish during this stuff, so you're the stockfish guy. Okay, where's the next check here? We've got e4. The next check. That's good. It has to be. I mean, you're as good as dead without this. My God, man. Guys, this is one of those puzzles, rare, in which the solution is to do perpetual checks and stuff. difficult one. That one was difficult. That was difficult. So thanks for the encouragement, Brian. Thanks for the encouragement, man. So let's see if the no, not this one, not this one. This one. Okay, let's see if there's any more happenings here. Ooh, the games had progressed. Oh my lord, this. Let me just resize this. Jesus Christ, that's just going off all day. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's good, man. Bullet is just crazy as it is. I think slowly I'm going leave the bullet behind. My personal history is just insanely fast. I can't keep up with the fast thinkers. I mean, it's too much, man. Bullet is just. I mean, you gotta have so much clarity in your mind. You really have to be clear. Probably you gotta. I mean, I have to select just some days in which I play bullet, in which I'm really very, very cool mind, well rested, of course. Grab the coffee and you're just doing the bullet and you don't talk, you just play. It's very challenging bullet for me. Really challenging. So, blitz I might be able to handle a few. Bullet is just already insane. Hikaru is the same whether online or over the board. Hikaru is the same. Yes, Brian. Yeah, in the bullet you gotta go pretty much 10-15 moves. I think you're putting so many questions that are contradicting the games that you played. Yesterday you presented the game that was very advanced by someone that has quite good knowledge of chess, and now you're asking me questions like what is FIDE? I don't know if I should take you seriously, really. I think you're just having a little bit of a fun, but really your questions are weird, man. The stuff you're saying doesn't make sense. I think you're messing around on all aspects. King h7. G3 had been played. G3 actually stops the black knight. Yeah, you can type it in on the Google. Try it. Have you tried to use the internet that you're so skillful when you're playing chess? Have you tried to use the internet? Give it a go. Stop the trolling. Get a bit more serious, or, let us be. And go be with yourself. G3 stops the knight coming f4. H. And also does not allow this pawn to moving down the board. That's very important. But most importantly, stops the black knights. I think that's a problem with the black knights. You can't have that. So G3, defending. And that's good. Probably we're going to see, oh, that's so nice. F7 to F5. Okay. Are we going to see Queen B3 this lifetime? Probably C6 and everything's done. Yeah, Queen B3, C6 and everything's done. Nice one. So that's Hikaru Ray Robson and Wesley and Fabi here. Ooh, this one goes closer to the final result. My days, Fabi's killing it. You can't touch the pawn. I think Fabi is going to probably sort of maybe resigning. That's a check. That is a check. You can't take it, right? And I guess the white rook would like to position, but I don't know how exactly. Well, maybe you go back rank and then you do a little bit of traveling. So I think looking at the white's position, Brian, and the rest of my friends around there, you got to keep the bishop here just hitting this guy. I mean, protecting your pawn. Cool stuff. And now the question is, do you play something like G4, G5, or do you play something like Rook F, Rook D, and then try to see if you can do something? Yeah. Yes, Brian. I think we probably. Yeah, I think we're coming around the same ideas. I like your stuff. That's exactly what I thought to myself as well. G4, G5. That makes sense. Centralizing the White King, trying to hit the bishop and stuff. But hold on a sec. G4, you can't push G5, right? Because there is also a pawn. So I'm not sure of that. Let me read your stuff again. 93 what? I say G4, King G2. All right, you want to get the king in the center, right? If I get this one correctly. Okay. Okay. G4 makes a lot of sense, and King G2 also makes a lot of sense. We do want in the end. And good stuff for the White King, Brian, is that they. Oh my god, he took the pawn of the rook. Jesus, man. Dude, this guy. So, the idea would be Wesley wants to say you can take my rook and I'll try to survive with my bishop. Namely, you got to get the bishop somehow staying here forever. And G4, exactly as you said, Brian, and that makes a lot of sense. I think you are one of those seers, yeah. I'm not sure if it's a draw, but definitely worth fighting for. I mean, Wesley doesn't have a chance, Brian. Wesley has to fight. Fabi could accept a draw, but maybe Fabi wants more than a draw, given that he's got the rook, though. And also given that the pawn on a2 is not attackable by the black bishop, so maybe you got more freedom with the rook to do stuff. Stuff meaning attacking this pawn island. So king centralizes, Brian, exactly as you said. King is centralizing. Rook cuts off the king, so you can maybe win another square tempo stuff. I think it's great. Fabi can play for a win, maybe. There is a pawn majority on the passed pawn here, but it's easier said than done. Easier said than done, Brian. Yeah, very likely. Or maybe c5? Do you think c5, Brian? Maybe better than c6, or maybe too early to trying this? Or maybe too early? Because c5, Brian, means we could also play this bishop here on d4. You ain't gonna touch that thing. What do you think, Brian? c5 and c5 and bishop d4, perhaps? Just asking. I might be wrong, though, but you know. Just speculating now out loud. It could be. And I guess that's one of the questions Wesley pays attention now. Also, very interesting board number 3 here. Spectacular stuff this guy's played. Hold a second. Let me just show you. There was a very complicated stuff with the... So he took... Yes, I'm happy because actually I did say that. I did say if I was Levon here, I would take on f5. I did say that. And of course, they took the knight. He didn't take this guy. Because then knight could have played h6, for instance. Then f7 is a killer. So they took the knight. And now rook moved to safety, of course. Queen c7, attacking the knight. Knight b5, hitting queen again. Rook on the same file where the black queen is. Attacking knight, knight c3, very harmoniously. You're also having this. Pawn is pinned, can't take. Pawn can't take. You can't play it now, but anyway. a3, d7, b7 now. Hey, white's better, right? White's better here. You just move the queen somewhere safe. What does safe means? Back where you were, right? Or you consider queen a7. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I don't know if to go a7 or to go f3. I think I need to look at this like 5-10 minutes now. I mean, he's been actively thinking about what to play. So, Brian, what would you play? I'm just curious. Yeah, but it's the best training we could do, Brian. The best training we could do as chess players ourselves, chess club players and stuff, is to try to think as they played their live games as well. Queen a7, there you go. So I had two big candidate moves. I had queen a7 and queen f3. So queen a7. Pressure on the rook. Queen has to stay here pretty much forever to defend the rook. And I think it's great. White is better. Definitely white better here. The rook on h8 doesn't exist. Yeah, guys, don't forget to follow me, my dear friends, Brian and the rest of you guys on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or kick.com, or please follow, subscribe, Rumblers. What destinations have I not? Yeah, queen a7. Queen a7 keeps the rook emprise and pretty much locks in the weaknesses. So I think it's great. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful and very instructive. The US Kings here, chess-wise. Hey, this one is such a uneventful, dry, positional game here. I think I'm getting dizzy trying to calculate every single little square and pawn and everything. Gee, man. I mean, what are you supposed to move here, by the way? What do you play here? Knight e3? I just try to actively look for something. What are you supposed to play? I would go knight e3 just the first glance. I don't know if that's the objectively correct one, but probably you want to get your guys active, right? So knight e3. What would you play here, Brian? Oh, that's a nice one to learn. I think the guy's name is Brian, but Ryan, okay. Means so from 3 branches. Okay. Nice one to learning. Nice reference. Ah, right. Gotta have to attending that one as well. All right. Okay. So, fellas, I'm going to be letting you now to do the remainder of the chess tournament yourselves. Got to attend to a couple of things now. All right. So, guys, thanks very much. Please do follow, subscribe me, fellas. Check the last videos on YouTube and or TikTok archive. And hopefully see you guys tomorrow evening.